Hi everyone, this video is about Saturn entering Pisces on the 8th of March 2023. This is a very odd mix between Saturn, what it symbolizes, and Pisces energy. Very odd mix, very contradictory energies. Let's try to blend it together and see what we can expect over the next 3 years because Saturn is going to sail through the sign of Pisces until February 2026. Last time when Saturn changed signs, it happened on the 22nd of March 2020. Saturn ingressed, entered the previous sign, Aquarius. At the time, Aquarius represents independence and freedom, first of all. On the 23rd of March, the day after 2020, what has happened we all know. There were certain regulations and limitation of freedom that was imposed on a lot of people in many countries. Saturn has a nearly 30 years orbit, 29.5 years orbit around the Earth. It has been sailing through so-called anoretic degree, 29 degree of Aquarius since 28th of February. So the first week, let's say the first week of March, and then it will hit, the sign of Pisces and will remain there from 7th, 8th of March 2023 for the next 3 years. So if you have anything important, personal point, personal planet, the Sun, Moon, or your ascendant in the sign of Pisces, you will especially be affected by it. It doesn't have to be in a negative way because Saturn, as with every astrological planet, sign, there are always combinations of positives and negatives that we may experience when we are exposed to certain symbolism. So with Saturn, let's say, on a more negative side maybe it symbolizes some kind of constrictions, limitations, rules, regulations, separations, boundaries, hardship. But also it brings structure and discipline to certain areas of our life. On a physical sense, in our bodies, it represents structures of skin, teeth, bones. Okay, these structures are represented by Saturn. Time, Chronos, in a mythical Chronos is Saturn actually, so the clock time, the time. This is a planet of old people, care homes, but also it's time of discipline. So it's a planet of discipline, patience, perseverance. This is, you pushing the rock up the hill to get your reward at the top. It represents governments, corporations, top-down structures, tradition, and logical approach. So this is Saturn for you. It's amazing if you want to put some hard work and get the results at the end of it. Then Saturn will give you your rewards, okay? But also it will give you punishment if you have cut corners on the way to get there. Now we have Pisces. Energy of Pisces is full of contrast to Saturn actually, because Piscean energy is very unstructured, vague, mystical, spiritual, confusing. It's victimhood, it's sacrifice, it's media, Hollywood, films, lens, cameras, illusions. It's about deceit and lies as well. It's a sign of spirituality in its highest form and unconditional love, healing. It knows no boundaries. Pisces is a very unstructured, different energy. It has no anchor. It's the most mutable sign. So we have a very odd mix, as you can see. Pisces and Saturn don't really mix well together, right? So what can we expect? Last time when Saturn was in Pisces, Alcoholics Anonymous was set up. Structure, Saturn was put on addictions, alcohol and drugs. That very much is symbolized by Pisces as well. What can we expect when we mix these two? So I think some kind of structure may be put on spirituality, religion, mystical energies. There may be some more validation, legitimization of these areas of our lives. Maybe we may see that it's this aspect this transit will bring definition to these areas of our lives. There may be increasing distrust in old traditional structures, and they may be ending and dissolving. Pisces is about dissolving energies in thin air, in water, and no definition, no boundaries. Okay, so some old structures, top-down governments, corporations, and very clear structures may get dissolved by the energy of Pisces. But at the same time, the spiritual energy of Pisces and religion that I've mentioned earlier, anything to do with mysticism and spirituality and our intuition, the undefined things, they may actually get more definition and legitimization, as I mentioned earlier. We may actually see water being highlighted enormously, anything to do with water, whether it's to do with structure of water, quality of water, who has access to water, desalinating seawater, for example, or cleaning pollution in the oceans. But also, I'm sure over the next 3 years, what will be brought up very often will be structures, which is Saturn, built on water or underwater. There may be some breakthroughs in construction, for example, and anything to do with water as such. Hollywood media, all this glamour, films, cameras, lenses, Hollywood, world of Hollywood is very much about Pisces. It's very much Piscean energy. Saturn may bring some constrictions, limitations, and some control, or even like shutting down or limitations to these areas of our life. I think we may also observe more spiritual integrity and, as I said earlier, putting some structure and discipline on spirituality. Even in our private lives, I think it may be easier for us to bring in some structure to our spiritual side that we all have, and let's not forget about it, whether it's to do with visualizing, writing your morning pages, or let's say meditating. It may be easier for you to put certain structure on it and find chunks of your life, of your day, to sacrifice to these areas of our life that is so amazingly important. So let's make the most of it. I would say that if you have Piscean energies, personal planets in Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, you may really make the most of it by bringing more discipline and structure into your life, because then you will be rewarded with what Saturn has to offer in its positive expression, and it has a lot positive to offer actually. So let's not be afraid of this transit. Let's make the most of it. The next 3 years, Saturn sailing through Pisces. Take care. Have a good day.